It's Carolyn Hennesy as I sort of adjust myself here. There you go. Welcome to another episode of Life, Love, and Conservation with your host, me, Carolyn Hennesy. Very exciting show today, as they all are, but this one is kind of special. And our very special show today is brought to you once again, as they all are, by Univera. And I just realized that I realized this morning that I put these two things, the extra and the Alice Select, uh, the digestive health formula, in my smoothies every single day. And I think it's like a gift from God. I'll tell you something. Full disclosure, I was in Tennessee last weekend on a photo shoot for my dear friend Ivy Abbott's. I love her clothes. And, they said, what would you like when you're here? And I said, well, Southern food, because in the South. And I had a piece of fried chicken last Sunday night that was damn near the best thing I've ever eaten. And then the next day I thought I was going to die because, I'm just not used to the way they prepare things. Also, your digestive system at this age is not your digestive system when you're 20. And so this has basically saved my life. Okay, yeah, there, it basically saved my life. Great fried chicken. And then you have this. And so I put both of those things, and the Univera products, not only internally, but externally, are like little godsends, or like little miracles. So there's that. So thank you, Univera, for once again sponsoring the show. Today on Life, Love, and Conservation. Oh, first of all, let me reintroduce, because it's been a while. Producer Eric.
Hello, producer hey, Eric. Carolyn, how you doing?
I'm fine now.
I think,
but it was touch and go there on that plane ride home. Seriously,
I'm so sorry.
I mean, listen, but it's not anything that all of us. Well, if you haven't experienced this kind of thing yet, you will. It's as simple as that. And it's like, oh, TMI. No, wrong. We need to talk about these things and the things that can save our lives. Otherwise we're not doing a service to anybody. So how you doing, producer Eric?
I'm doing great. And we actually have some conservation news actually that features Univera towards the end. So I'm excited to share.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got some, as you say, cheers and jeers, right?
Yeah. Cheers and jeers.
Excellent. So before that though, we have our live segment, and I'm going to see if I can get our very special guest to stay over into our love episode, man, and hope she will. We've only got her voice today, but I'm so thrilled, as really my first big special celebrity guest on this show, to introduce the woman who plays the incomparable Alexis Davis on General Hospital, Diane Miller's best and I think pretty much only friend, and the second best lawyer in Port Charles, Miss Nancy Lee Grahn, who has got some very exciting news to share with us. Hello, my friend.
Hello. I would argue with that. You're clearly a much better attorney, considering I no longer have my license.
That's right. Where is your photograph so that people can match the producer Eric? Where's her photograph?
It'll come in post-production.
Oh, it's coming in post-production.
If they don't know what I look like now, there's no
That's
hope.
Right. I know. I saw you before the show, and I think, folks, she's just one of these people with this incredible bone structure. She could wear a gunny sack and walk down the, and you could walk down the street, and the next day everyone would be wearing gunny sacks.
No, absolutely not true. But I wasn't prepared, because you said this wasn't on video, and I also don't even know how to put it on video. So,
well, honey, I
clearly don't.
Phone.
Carolyn, Richard he travels a lot internationally, and he wants to FaceTime, and I'm like, you don't understand. This is not good for me and my self-esteem, and it's not good for our relationship. The phone is not the video on the phone is just, at a certain point you just go, no, we're not going to do that anymore.
I know. Listen, I have a whole setup with the ring light, and if I were smart, I'd have another one over here, so it would be filled in. But I have to, blow myself out, as it were. Otherwise,
I wouldn't be able to figure it out, and I don't have the energy for it. I'd rather be heard and not seen.
Before we get to you, I have one story. Our illustrious, esteemed executive producer, because things have happened to Diane in the last week, which we cannot talk about, but which you know about. And
Yeah.
Diane is, let's just say she's lying down. Okay. So Frank Valentini, all hail, comes up to me at one point and he says, you know, the camera is shooting you from an angle that no one, man or woman, should ever be shot at. But just because I adore you so much, I'm going to have your neck wrinkles taken out in post. And it's like, thanks, Frank. Thank you so much. I love you very much. So I'm now considering, maybe just a little tightening. It's hilarious.
It's life. There's not a whole lot we can do. There are things, which, by the way, I'm thinking about, and because apparently now I'm way past the age to do any sort of thing like that, any sort of refreshing.
I disagree. First of all, I disagree. And also, you're one of these people, you just don't need it. I don't know what you've been doing, but your skin is very
well.
tall.
You're very kind, and
I'm not.
But you don't look at me close up, and you also look at me. And by the way, it doesn't matter on some level if we didn't do what we did. That kind of matters a bit. And also, it's just your personal thing. Do you look how you feel, or do you want to? It's just, and it's also what you can afford to do. I mean, the whole refreshing industry is not just because only people that can afford to do it can do it. And what I want to say is almost every celebrity that you see has had something done. So, I mean, so many of them, and word gets, so we do know these things. And I'm certainly, not at liberty to say, but I don't know how we got on this discussion because it's so boring.
Because you look great. Because I saw you before the broadcast, and I was just going to say you look great, and you and I, we look great, and we also can't figure out technology.
You know what I will say about this whole refreshing thing, as long as the subject came up, is that if and when I do this, I will tell. I will put up before and after pictures. There will be no secretive anything about it, because I think that's not being a woman's advocate. I think it's a personal choice. Anyone can do what they want. For me, I think it's not nice not to tell.
I agree.
So, because then you look, a little more refreshed than a person that didn't get refreshed. And then the person that didn't get refreshed is thinking, oh, wow, why don't I look refreshed? And it's not. So if I do, I will say, if someone says you look good, I'll say it was science.
Yeah, exactly. And here's what's interesting. My plastic surgeon, should I choose to go down this route, it's not inexpensive at all.
It's so expensive. It's absurd.
But he said, listen, if you do it now, then people will look at you 3 months later after you've healed, and they'll kind of go, wow, you're looking really good. What? Not quite sure. What's happening? But if you do it in 10 years, when people have seen you now with even more wrinkles, and you come back to, let's say, work on General Hospital, and you've got this, then everybody knows what you've done. Do you know what I mean? It's
I think it's okay for people to know.
It's true.
It's okay to do that if you are lucky enough to afford it and you choose to do that. I think that it's also okay to say, look, I had a little bit of this, and this is how they did it, and this is the thing, and I think I think it's kind to other women to speak the truth about stuff like that.
Now, my aunt, we're going to talk about your big news, which is a between the pages, adventure in just a second. But my aunt, a very famous actress in her day, Barbara, she had, the zipper, as I say, started here, went all the way down. She had enough of so many procedures. And as a result, when she started moving into, she left film and moving into television, she couldn't get hired for the roles that she was age appropriate in that time.
Right. Yeah.
She couldn't do it because everybody knew how old she was, but she didn't look her age. So she wasn't getting hired. And so it's like, and what did I just see? I just saw Death on the Nile, Annette Bening.
I just saw Bening at the Coffee Bean.
Yeah. And I don't know what she has done.
Fantastic.
But yeah, but there are wrinkles. There are things
Yeah,
on
she
on her face, and it's like she looks great. So,
but she's also lucky enough to look great and age gracefully. I think Meryl Streep hasn't had much done, maybe a
right?
peel, some Botox. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm told. Thank you, FedEx man. I see it. Oh, wait, he needs, you know what? This is, hold on, Carolyn, because
That's right. We're just looking at a picture of you, so I'll
the
just vamp
FedEx,
until you
no,
get
the
back.
FedEx man isn't going to go because he needs, hi, he needs ID because Richard's wine box came. And we're talking about age, and he needs to see my ID to see if I'm old enough to accept the wine, which is very funny to me.
Oh, that's
Very
hilarious.
funny.
That's hilarious.
So I'm about. Oh, okay. Oh, I can't get it out. That sounds
Welcome
like.
to life, kids. And
I've paused Nancy. I've muted Nancy for a moment.
okay,
So-
have you really? Okay, so now it's just the two of us.
Yes.
Well, she's sort
I
of
need
taking,
ID.
she's
sorry.
taking a literary route,
Yes, very much so. Very much.
right? Right?
Yes.
She's taking
Yes.
a literary route. We're going to talk all about that. But again,
So
kids, life. And I love these aspects of life. I just love. It's like, you know what? Also, for people who think that, show business is so glamorous, well, you only see us on the red carpet, a lot of you. But this is us behind the scenes. Nancy Lee Grahn having to get her ID to get her fiance's wine box.
let me see if we can hear her again. Just 2 seconds here.
Okay.
All right,
Nancy. Okay. I think she's back.
I'm back. Okay. Oh my God.
All right. Oh, I love that. I love that. All right, honey. So now that you've shown your ID to the.
Well, I can't because I can't get it out of my purse. Anyway, okay, go ahead. Where were we?
So wait a minute. Are they so they have to see your ID? They can't
Yeah,
deliver
but I
rich
can't get
wine
my wallet, so it's a problem.
So they're not. So they didn't actually
No,
deliver the package.
Richard is he was in his music studio, so he went to get it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yes, I know. I have a Michael Kors wallet, and if the license won't come out of the anyway, that's not interesting. Let's move on.
Yes, it is. It's interesting. And this is what I was saying during the muted pause. That people only see that most people truly these days still only see you on a red carpet, right? Very, very glamorous,
Yes.
very glamorous. And I was saying, so, but this is really the bones of our lives, and that's finding your ID to show to the FedEx guy to get your fiance's wine box. I mean, it's not all jewels. It's not all
It's not. I mean, this is and not only that. Before this podcast began, I was cleaning up dog poop in the backyard and sweeping the floor.
Welcome to my world. Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
There you go.
But you know what I do now? You know what I do with the dog excrement? I've got 3 things in my yard. It's the same. I've just got 3 of them. They're fly traps. Have you heard of these? Have you seen these?
No.
Fly traps. Oh my God.
I
Nancy.
need those because I get flies in my house all the time.
Okay. I will send you the link of where to get them.
Oh,
But
good.
And there are all these recipes of. They're like there's a bait bowl, and then there are these large green cylinders, and there's a conical shape and the flies crawl up inside, and then they can't figure out how to get out.
Oh,
But they
this is my
they're
swag gift
so
doing
good.
the podcast. This is brilliant.
I will send you the link, and
All right.
everybody look them up on Amazon. And they're cheap, but they work. And there's all these recipes about what to put in the bait bowl. You know what? If you have dogs, it's ready made, and I can't tell you the number of flies. It's like a ring this deep of flies.
So you put
Fly
dog
traps.
poop in the thing?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, I mean, they're attracted to it. Like
Ugh.
flies on. It just works. It's just fantastic.
all
Anyway,
right.
So yeah, very exceptionally glamorous. Now, maybe please talk about your big news. The fact
Yeah.
that you
Well, I
are.
how big the news is, but because I'm just a DFZP lister, but I am writing a book.
You're writing a book. Talk about it, please.
So I've been given a year from October. So October 2023. And I actually started writing the book about my experience in family court. And then I was sort of writing stream of consciousness because I'm not a trained writer, but I apparently I can, from the word is I can write a bit. So I wrote, and then I said, I'm going to come back and write when I'm not so angry. So I started, it picks up like 10 years later. And then I decided that I was going to, I started writing about how I got to family court and, the strum and drung and the shenanigans and the things that kind of shaped and formed me in order to have Kate, and then kind of what happened right after I had her. And then I may carry on, but what I wasn't doing before, and was being asked of me, and it's appropriate, and I have an interest in sharing it, was to extend my chapters on daytime, and write more specifically about General Hospital and my experience. So, I have 37 years of being on daytime, so I have a thing or two to say about it, and both good and both somewhat. I have some things that I think are inequitable that
could be changed. Should be changed. Sure.
And that should be changed, but always coming from a place of gratitude. So, so I'm popping my truth out on the page for what it's worth. And it's timely now because I'm not beholden to anyone anymore. I don't feel beholden to anyone. Always grateful to ABC and Disney. Always, always, always. The only words that will ever come out of my mouth about ABC and Disney is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. No.
But in terms of sort of the different collections of people that have driven the show, and I have some thoughts about how things were done over 37 years, and mostly so good. But again, I'm looking at it also with a critical eye.
This is very, very exciting. And now, but you're going to dovetail. I mean, it's not two books; it's one book, and you're dovetailing the experience, what you had to go through to have Kate. The next singing superstar. That's
and funny,
and then dovetailing that in with GH.
Yeah. So I mean, the GH stuff will be it's sort of separate, very, very long chapter that fits into my life. I mean, it's been 27 years of my life, so almost 27. It'll have been 27 by the time this book comes out. But it's also, I think, funny because I see the world from a funny place very often. And I like humor. And I like when I read other people telling their stories through humor. So
yeah, no, you do. This is thrilling. And now we're not going to talk about publishers. We're not going to talk about anything else.
No.
Is there?
Oh, that will remain, between me and them until.
Listen, I don't even know. How does Kate feel about you writing this book?
She's read it. She digs it. She's read what I've written so far, but I have about 100 pages, and I'm going to just pound out and pound out and pound out, and of course they'll be editing. But I am writing this. Nobody else is writing this. There's nobody. Nobody's asking me questions, and I'm just telling them stuff over a microphone, over a tape recorder or whatever. This is me.
That's great. Listen. As far as I know, Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens, was not a trained writer. I don't think Hemingway was a trained writer. I don't even think F. Scott Fitzgerald was a trained writer. I mean,
they're sure good at it.
That's right. That's right. So training, it's like, you can only get trained so far, and then you really have to rely on your innate creativity, of which you have in abundance because I've seen it. So I'm thrilled.
I appreciate that very much, but I know some people are born to do certain things and they have either a trained gift or an innate gift, and I respect writers, people who do this for a living, and people who write nonfiction, fiction, journalists. Writers are honestly people that I admire so much. So I really am humbly saying I'm writing. It's not You know, I mean, I think I can, you know, learn to type the quick brown fox over the lazy dog like really, really fast in 8th grade. And I have no technical skills. My father was a grammar teacher and he would turn over in his grave. You
Listen,
know,
that's what they have copy editors for.
I,
That's
you
what
know,
they have
that-
proofreaders.
say that in the forward. Exactly. I say that my father has vertigo from turning over in his grave so many times from, you know, my run on sentences. But
You know what my favorite thing in my books is? The ellipses. I just for somehow it's like that's my particular, you know,
I don't
grammatical
that.
the three little dots. I love the three little dots.
No, I know what they I wouldn't even I mean, that's exactly because you know, that's what you do when you don't know what else to do.
I know. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
Well,
Also,
Carolyn, you're a very skilled writer. So,
well,
you know.
it listen, it took some. It took some. Listen, can we hold you over for our love segment? Can we do that?
Oh, what we're
Yeah.
talking about love.
Yes, yes, yes. But it's going to be very, very specific. So we're going to
Who else is
we're going to pause right here, and we're going to come back in a couple of seconds. Oh, and here we are. Once again, thanks for staying with us. Yes, and once again, we are brought to you by Univera, aloe-based products. They own the farms, they own the production, and the stuff is just beyond compare. And we have with us today as our very special guest, Miss Nancy Lee Grahn, Alexis Davis on General Hospital, Diane Miller's, as I say, best and pretty much only friend. And, you know, now that she has lost her law license, Diane is officially the best lawyer in Port Charles. But Alexis is running the newspaper, right? The Invader, Intruder, the Insider.
Yeah, apparently, I just know how to run paper. Just, you know, it's extraordinary the gifts that I have that I didn't know I had.
If I can ask a nerdy question of you two ladies.
Yeah.
Obviously, Nancy, you having been on General Hospital for so long, daytime for so long, and Carolyn, you over 500 episodes, General Hospital. How do you keep what has happened to your character straight with so many episodes?
I can't. Speaking of the book, I wrote this. It's really so funny. Just kind of a general overview of the things that my character has gone through, and it is hilarious. And by the way, it just taps the surface. I read it to a couple people, and it's like double over laughing funny.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
So
I mean, you've got to include everything. The Julian on the docks, the cancer.
I couldn't possibly remember everything, and then the more I'm thinking about it, I had to call people and ask them. There's no way you can remember this stuff, but I mean, just oh my God, I'll read it to you one day, Carolyn. It's really funny.
You've got to. I was there for some of it, but
you were there for a lot.
Yeah, a lot of those shenanigans, a lot of them.
God, it's
so much fun.
Yeah, it's amazing, actually.
So we are now into our love segment. And producer Eric has a very interesting question. He posed it to me today, and I thought, well, this is fascinating. And I said, I've got to keep Nancy on so we can talk about, because, you know, we are actresses after all, and we have a love of all things cinematic. So Eric, what's our love topic for today?
Yeah, so it's a love of cinema. I recently saw, and honestly, it was a few months ago because I saw it when it came out. Everything Everywhere All at Once, starring Michelle Yeoh, and it was a film I ended up seeing 3 times in the theater, which is very rare for me because I'm a busy guy. And but it's one of those films where I walked out and I felt changed as a person for the better. And it really made me think about this love of cinema and the power that cinema could have. And so I really wanted to hear from you, Carolyn, and also you, Nancy, about what films you feel like have changed you. Like how has cinema opened you up in ways maybe that you didn't know were possible?
Nancy, you go.
Well, you know, there's so many. It's like when someone asks you, you know, what was your favorite scene? Well, there were 50,000 of them, and all of a sudden I can't think of any of them.
Well, oh no, I know.
I mean, there's just so many movies that have either validated that, when someone speaks for you, they can articulate how you're feeling and you can't, and then you see it in a movie or you see it in a written word in a movie. There's endless movies like that. I will tell you, some of the movies that I can probably remember the things that happen. I know that Singing in the Rain just thrills me. All the old movies, anything with Katharine Hepburn, because I was born a feminist, but I didn't know how to be one. I didn't know. I would watch Kate Hepburn, and I would know somehow innately that she was so self-actualized and so funny and so smart. And I wanted to be her, but it took me 35 years to fill into that in my way. And even just through acting, you're learning things about yourself. And all the scenes that I did on Santa Barbara, it grew me. So the movies do grow you, and there's just so many. But I will say, in the last several years, I loved Defending Your Life. I loved Albert Brooks. I love Broadcast News. I loved Defending Your Life. Thrilled me. It was so funny, and I really believe those things in a certain way, and he made that so delightful. Broadcast News, I felt like Holly Hunter on some level. She wakes up every morning and cries just to get it done, get it out, and carry on. I thought that was
and knowing that she's the smartest person in the room. No.
Well, I often think I'm the smartest person in the room. It turns out I'm not, actually.
Well,
But, I loved what was the movie with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson? Something's Gotta Give.
Something's Gotta Give.
I felt that, going through that, thinking, I'm never going to meet it. I don't know that I'm ever going to have that. And then it turns out at 60, I had that for the first time in my life.
Well, send some of it my way.
Oh, well, yeah. That the thing is, you saw that it could be done.
Yeah.
That it can happen. So like I said, I'm a beacon of hope. But again, it took, I mean, some of us just grow differently and take, different, there's so many movies that have just left me stunned silence. And those were the ones that I just, off the top of my head, that I enjoy. I don't know that they changed me. I just love them. This is about love. But
listen, love changes you. So if you feel love towards something or anything, your DNA gets tweaked a little bit. So absolutely, because you know how they made you feel, you can only imagine how they made others feel. I'm sure.
Endless amounts of them. What's yours, Carolyn?
Well, when Eric posed this to me in the car as I was driving home from this, I judged a car show today at the Hollywood Museum. Very exciting.
Well,
so I said,
think about it. I didn't have time to think about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Well, I only really, and it's interesting because it's on my top 10, but it's the one that I thought of first. And I only thought of it for the last few minutes of this particular film. And it's John Huston's The Dead. And I was very young when I saw it initially, or certainly much younger. And I wasn't particularly, I mean, it's just sort of like a film of manners and sitting at this table and this particular party. And so, it ain't an action movie. But there's a moment when Angelica Houston is standing on the staircase and she is listening for a long, don't forget, this was her father directing what was certainly directing her in one of his very last movies. And she's listening to this singer up on the second level or on a level above her. And the look on her face, and I thought, this is what it means to go very, very deep. That is the deep dives that we do as actors. That's terrific. And she did that. But to me, it's like, oh no, we get to do that as human beings.
Yeah.
We get to do that as human beings, and it was so, in a way, very liberating, because the look, it was a masterclass. That particular look on her face, just the look. I mean, forget the costumes, forget what was around her. Watching her eyes and the look on her face as she listened to something beautiful and for her very profound.
Mhm.
That was just another widening of the door of freedom, of creativity for me, and the door of depth. It was amazing, and it was the thing that enabled me, because I didn't see Chaplin's City Lights until later, and it was the thing that enabled me to recognize, because they say the last 5 minutes of City Lights is the great masterclass in acting.
Mm.
Watching Charlie Chaplin
Yeah, that's
with the blind girl, and the blind girl who's no longer blind, and
Yeah.
her realizing who he is and who he has been to her in this movie. It's the damnedest thing. And so, but having had that in first experience with the dead, and I so much more appreciated what I was watching in his eyes, and I thought, oh, I get to try and tap into that with what I do, but also forget that, just as a human being, just, the profound understanding of what it means to be wonderfully and tragically and brilliantly human. So that was
and there's so many like that. I mean,
oh,
there, out of Africa, I know
oh,
me that changed me in a way too, because I was trying to understand how to be alone and to be in love. I was having a relationship in a way, in fact, with somebody that did fly. And so when Robert Redford, left, and he said, I need to be able to come and go as I please. And I didn't understand that, coming from more of a loving, wonderful, but symbiotic family in a way. I didn't understand how to let somebody go. And
oh,
so that was profound for me when I watched that.
yeah.
And The Wizard of Oz, I mean,
Well,
that is life lesson, number one. That is almost everything in one movie.
if it's not in your own backyard, you haven't really lost it in the first place. I'll tell you this: when
Mm.
she wakes up and she says, "I'm probably going to start crying right now." She goes, "Oh, Annie M, there's no place like home." I'm a basket case. I'm a
Yeah,
basket case.
yeah.
I,
Just
I just
all of those lessons, and all of the stuff, and the con, what we believe, the con of something. It's all so simple, really, isn't it? And it's just, um, I mean, there's so many movies that have affected me so profoundly that it's just,
yeah.
and everyone. That's why people love movies, and it's different now because we don't go to the movies anymore.
No, we don't. We don't. I remember seeing a film, and maybe some of my audience may remember it. It was called The Last of Sheila. Did you ever see that film? James Mason,
I did not.
Jim Coburn, Richard Benjamin, um, Diane Cannon, who has a line that I loved in this movie. She's floating on the sea, and a floating. She says, "Somebody get me something to drink." You could. My mouth's so dry, you could film Lawrence of Arabia in my mouth. I mean, it's just it was so hilarious. But it's a puzzle. It's like Clue before its time, but it's an intricate puzzle, and
Mhm.
and you have to solve this particular puzzle. And I think I got my love of puzzles, escape rooms, thinking out of the box. I went, oh, you know what? I like this movie. It's so complicated, but I like solving the riddle. So I,
Right.
I think so that was like a profound expansion for me. So
You know, another movie that I mean, there's so many, like, Terms of Endearment just fucking reeked your heart
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
But A Lion in Winter,
Oh, come on. Oh, please.
those
One of the
performances
great.
between those two people, and the complexity and the layers and the dimensions and the conflicts of their relationship, it almost encompassed everything, didn't it?
Everything, everything. I had the opportunity to play Eleanor of Aquitaine,
Uh,
in a stage version, the original, like,
oh,
big.
wait, you did that with Ian, didn't you?
No,
Oh.
no. I did this years ago. Like I was 10, I think 10 years too young to play Eleanor, and my Henry was about 15 years too old to play Henry. Didn't matter. It was phenomenal. But
Yeah.
that's Goldman's writing, and you can't get past it. It
No.
was also the
I-
first film that she did after Spencer had died.
And
So
and it's, I think her best work, but
truly. Although
although yeah, on Golden Pond, come on. I mean, that's
yeah, wonderful. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was the last film that she did with Spencer, because both she and Spencer knew that he was dying at that moment, and that speech that he gives at the end, if you look past him and to her, her eyes are like diamonds. She's literally fighting so hard to hold back the tears, because she knows that he's saying everything that encompassed their relationship, this star-crossed love, and she just can't. So it's like when the next time you watch Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, everybody watch her eyes. They are shining like light.
oh yeah.
So again, very raw. So excellent.
Good.
What a fabulous.
This is off the top of my head. I need to go through a thing, and I can't remember anything. Hardly anything.
Yeah. So here's honey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Will you come on again?
So welcome. I will definitely.
Good. Because it's such a joy to talk to you outside of the big dark box.
Outside.
That would
all right, cool. This is great.
I adore you madly, and I'm so
nice meeting you, Erin.
You were our first big celebrity guest.
Yay! Oh, it's huge. I'm a huge celebrity.
Yes, you are, and I defy anyone to top this. So there. Okay.
Yeah, I've
Thank
never
you, honey.
heard anything to say. It turns out, right?
Yes, you do. You have a lot to say at all times.
Neither are you.
Okay, and save some of it, because you're going to come back on. Thank you, honey.
Love
Thank
you
so
guys.
much. Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
She's everything. She's kind of everything. So here's my thought. Okay, so we're like at 42 minutes now.
Yes.
So here's my thought. We table conservation.
Okay.
What do you think about that? And we tease. We give it like a tiny little tease about what we're going to do in the next episode. So give the tease.
Yeah. So next episode, we'll talk about the major bounce back of rhinos in India and Nepal. So one-horned rhinos are making a comeback. And then Univera has some exciting news regarding plastics, So the news, and we'll talk more about it, is looking at a plastic-free pledge and transitioning to all bio-based plastics. So
bye-bye to this.
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a bit of a process, and we'll talk more about the complexity of going bio-based plastic.
I can't even imagine, but good on you. Good on you. Okay, you heard it here first. So tune in next time. You'll never know. We don't know who our next celebrity guest is, but make sure you tune in. Thank you, everyone. And just our conservation tip. We've said it before. Buy some metal or silicone straws. Terry, take them with you. I have given out like seven packages, 7 bags of metal straws to a gal group that I get together with like once every 3 weeks. None of them bring their metal straws to the restaurant. It's always the same restaurant, to the restaurant. And I'm like kicking them under the table. And they always say, oh, you know what? I forgot. Well, you know what? Don't forget, because it starts with a single straw. So buy those, go online, get the cylindrical green fly traps, and then buy metal straws. And they are cheap as all get out. They're just cheap as dirt. So do it for the planet. All right. We will see you next time on the next episode of Life, Love, and Conservation. Once again, thanks to my very dear friend, Nancy Lee Grahn. They broke the mold. They broke the mold with her. Producer Eric, I love you madly. Where are you?
I love you too.
There you are. Okay. All right. And to everybody, make sure you come back, because it's celebrity guest time. All right. We'll see you again. Do your best to help this planet, help the animals, and help yourself. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.